My name's Shalva, welcome to my channel. I'm here to try and help you get splendid results on your English GCSEs. So I was predicted a 9 in all my English GCSEs and my history, but we'll deal with that later. And basically I set up this channel because I've been very bored with the coronavirus lockdown, and I thought it would be fun to set up a channel that gave some tips and some help and some techniques that could help you get good results on your English GCSEs as well. So the first thing I would say when approaching especially poetry is listen to the poetry. In fact, so the first thing I'm going to do in this video and on this channel is I'm going to read one of my favourite poems from the English literature poetry component, London by William Blake. I'm going to read that, and you'll feel free to listen back to it or find another recording, but yeah, I'm going to read it. I wander through each charted street, near where the charted Thames doth flow, and mark in every face I meet marks of weakness, marks of woe. In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every ban, the mind-forged manacles I hear. How the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls, how the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlot's curse blasts the newborn infant's tear, and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. So that is London by William Blake. So listen to that, as I said. And the second thing I would say that you should learn to do is learn to read it yourself. There's an actor's technique that I use quite a lot. I'm about to start drama A-level, but I've also done quite a lot of acting in the past, which is you go to a text and you look at where the punctuation is and you make a mark where the punctuation is, and wherever there's a piece of punctuation it signals a mood shift, so you change direction. So for instance, with the poem London, you stand up, I'm not going to here, but you stand up and you go, I wandered through each charted street, turn direction, change direction, near where the charted Thames does flow. Again, signal for another change. And once you've done that enough, you will get a feel for the poem, and you will get a feel, you won't have to change physically direction anymore to know where the mood shift is, where the stress is. And that will really help you. Number one, it'll really help you to memorize the poem so you know it basically off by heart, and it's more fun than just sitting there reading it with highlighters for however many hours. And number two, it'll help you to get a feel for the flow and the rhythm of the text. You know, the best way to learn a poem and properly know something about a poem is to read it. The other thing I would say you should do, oops, bookshelf is falling down on my head, is read as much contemporary writing from whatever the period of the piece of writing that you're looking at you can. So I mean, I have a bookshelf full of Victorian novels, but not everyone does. I just happen to like Victorian novels. But I would say read at least one, apart from your set text, one Victorian novel to go with Blake, just to get a feel for, you know, these writers aren't writing out of a vacuum. What are they writing out of? And I would also recommend, you know, for Blake specifically, I would recommend that you read some other poets from the time to kind of see, well, what are they responding to, and is anyone else doing the same thing that they're doing? So for instance, for Blake, I would recommend reading Hood. He's not on any GCSE spec that I've seen so far, but he is exciting and he is a good poet. I think he's one of my favourite Victorian poets. And the two poems that I would recommend that you read from Hood would be The Song of the Shirt and The Bridge of Sighs. So they're both quite short. You just give them a skim through. You can find them online, and just read through those to kind of see, because Hood is looking at a lot of the same themes. You know, any textbook or your teacher will tell you, and so I don't really need to, about, you know, the social context of Blake and what he's responding to and the poverty and the streets, etc, etc, etc. And Hood is doing the same thing. He's looking at the same social horrors and responding to them with a piece of poetry. So look at that, and of course you could also look at, you know, statistics of, you know, what the actual things that Blake is responding to, you know, the drunkenness in the streets and the need to turn to prostitution to make a living, that kind of thing. But as I say, that stuff you will find in your textbook. I don't really need to talk about it here, although if you want me to go into it in a bit more depth, please feel free to comment below and I will do. So yeah, so do that. And read through the poem, read as much stuff from the same time as you can. And the last thing I would say is enjoy it. You know, I'm good at English because I enjoy it, and not everyone does, I understand that. But just try and find your genre, try and find something that you're going to enjoy, and start those techniques with a piece of text that maybe you do enjoy rather than a piece of text that you don't enjoy. So yes, sorry this has been quite a short video. I'm happy if you ask for it in the comments to address any bit of poetry more technically, or any bit of the paper structure more technically, but I'm also kind of assuming that your teacher will have done that, so I'm just trying to give you some tips that are going to really help you push your grade up there and just help you feel for where you're at with your English GCSE more. So, oh, and by the way, please feel free, I'm going to leave a link down below, please feel free to donate if you did enjoy this video, or if you did find it helpful in any way. I'm really excited. I've just gone on to the John Locke course in Oxford, but it is quite expensive and rather beyond my means. So I was looking for a summer job, but coronavirus lockdown, there's a bit of a scarcity. So please feel free to donate. That would be really helpful. And if you have any requests for anything else that you would like me to talk about, please let me know. Otherwise, I think I'll probably just look at another poem next video and maybe look a bit more at the technicalities of, you know, what techniques the poets are using. But again, you can find this in your textbook.